What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Tyler. We are back for another video on our Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order community series, a community series that airs every single Tuesday on our channel, leading up to Jedi Fallen Order releasing on November 15th. Now, we're just around a week and a half away. We got one more video after this one, and next week, hopefully, if the review embargoes lift for this game, we'll be talking about kind of what people are saying about this game leading up to it. So that is hopefully going to be next week's video. For this week's video, we wanted to address something. You know, these videos have been doing, to me, rather surprising. I didn't think as many people would watch as they are, and we're truly grateful for that. And one of the things we've seen in the comments of a lot of these videos has been the EA factor, has been like, you know, we're talking, and Tyler and I are both very, very high on this game. I think we get a little bit higher on it every single time we make a video. It may not turn out to be the greatest game in the world, but I'm definitely more excited about this game now than I was, say, in June when I thought it looked rather disappointing at E3. But the thing we keep going back to, or the thing that the comments keep going back to is, well, don't forget it's run by EA, so you can't support it. It's going to be garbage. There's going to be stuff in there. And, like, I get it. And that's what we're going to talk about, the whole EA factor. Will EA destroy it? And really, you know, what I've been talking about since back in June, back in May, this is a game that I still think we need to support, we need to buy, we need to talk about this game because we need to show EA that these kind of games are the games that we want from Star Wars going forward. They may not be the perfect games out there, but I'd rather have single-player, story-driven games than whatever, you know, they have planned. Battlefronts have been fine. I definitely don't think they're like terrible games, but I want some of these games mixed in as well. Again, it may not be a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game, but I want that. I get that it's EA. I get that from basically, I'd say, you know, EA really started doing some dirty stuff around 5-6 years ago. For the past half decade, EA has been looked at very, very negatively, and rightly so. There's nothing wrong with saying that EA is a very hated company, and they've made so many mistakes, and a lot of them, you know, they've done because of their own greed. At the same time, I do want to just believe that this game is outside of that realm that, you know, you can only have so many bad things happen to you before you either completely crumble or you say, all right, you know what, we got to lighten up on it. And while we've seen EA, Activision, Ubisoft try and pull different ways of doing microtransactions and pay to win and all these stuff, they've taken different angles of it to make it a little bit more like sleazy. But I want to believe that because of the loot boxes of Battlefront 2, because of what EA has gone through, even legally, even government stepping in to say, like, okay, there's a problem here, EA, I hope, has taken a step back and just let Respawn, makers of Titanfall, you gotta think about the developers too. These guys made the Titanfall games. You know, they hopefully they've just left them alone. Also, I would feel it's pretty darn difficult to throw in microtransactions and loot boxes and pay to win mechanics into a single player story driven game. I think that, you know, like, it's just really, really hard to do that. And as long as that's what this game is, and I've seen nothing, you know, that there's like a hidden multiplayer, this game is a story-driven, you know, single-player game. So, like, I don't really know how you can mess up the kind of like if you're just kind of or if you're managing it from a higher standard of EA. If they're looking at this game, I don't know how you force those kind of things in there. If Jedi Fallen Order fails, I'd like to believe it's just because the game itself fails, that the story's not good, that the gameplay is super repetitive, or something like that. Do I think that's going to happen? Actually, I don't. I think the story is going to have some surprises. I think it's going to be better than what people think. I think the gameplay looks really, really good, and again, just hopefully it's not repetitive. Hopefully they keep adding stuff to the game as it goes. But I find it very hard to believe, or hard to just fathom, how they can throw paying mechanics. And I assume that's what people mean when they say, like, EA will ruin this game, that they'll throw those kind of things in there. I just don't see how that's possible and how you could put that in this game. And as long as that's out of this game, the game will either stand or fail on its own, right? It'll just be because of the game. So, truthfully, like, I get like the worry. I get that it's EA, and you're gonna see EA on the box. You're gonna see EA on the online stores when you're buying this game. Yeah, they're bad. Okay, they're definitely bad. But, like, I just don't know if I don't think, that's my answer, I don't think they're going to affect this game as much as people say. I think this game is going to be relatively safe, and actually completely safe from them, and if it sucks, it's going to suck because the game itself sucks. If it's good, it's because the game itself is good. So, Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I understand the concern about it, too, but I don't know. I don't think you actually have anything to be concerned about for this game. Come the second game, come Jedi Fallen Order 2, that's when you should be really worried. because this game's probably going to sell really well, mainly because it appears as though there's a lot of media promotion, like media promoting it. A lot of positivity, a lot of people saying, basically it's pulled from some of the best games, Uncharted, God of War. Those are words that gamers like to see. I like to see that. The gameplay that they released, that longer video that was a couple weeks ago, that literally made me go from I'm just a little interested to I'm extremely interested. So I think you're going to see a lot of these, game companies really promoting it. I think you're going to see Jedi Fallen Order at the Game Awards, the VGX. I think you're going to see it in a lot of categories. That helps sell the game. It's not really about how much it sells day one. It's going to be about how much it sells in the first, the holiday season. I think it's going to do really well. And then I think that's when EA is going to say, just like we planned it, no microtransactions, but wait till you see the next game that we make. And then here's what I think they're going to do. Because the thing about EA is, even though everybody likes to hate them, and don't get me wrong, I do too, but even though, not that I shouldn't say I hate them, I just don't like their business practices when it comes to gamers or gaming and microtransactions and, the patent for, like, basically how to make people want to pay to be better and that kind of stuff. I mean, that leaked out. All that kind of stuff, that's garbage. That should never happen. But it does. And what I think is going to happen is I think Jedi Fallen Order will do great, right? I think we're going to have DLC, probably all free. I think we're going to have an expansion pack probably come out in February or March to, kind of continue it and sort of set up where even further what's going to happen in the next game. Maybe that's where we see Vader or something along those lines. That'll probably be like $20, which is totally normal because it is an expansion pack, and it should that kind of thing should be paid for. I totally get that. The Witcher did that. It would be all new, planets, probably a lot more either gear or maybe different lightsabers or different force abilities. Probably just you'd get more abilities in general. So you get more abilities, you get more planets, more missions, more story. I get that. Totally cool. I'd be willing to pay $25 for that. I'd honestly probably even go up to 30 max. So that's fine. But here's then what where the problem is. Now you just introduced something that is pay that people were willing to do, because most people are willing to do an expansion pack because it's essentially like getting a half of a game. So you're adding like a whole other half to the game. So people are willing to pay for it because they enjoyed the initial story and they want more. But it's literally like giving candy to somebody, because now they will introduce and sort of break the everything's free. Well, yeah, everything that would be free is free, but an expansion pack will never be free for anybody. And if it is, I mean, that would be awesome. But I get it too. You have to have the devs work on more of the game. They have to get paid. So I do kind of understand. It is sort of like an exchange of, well, you can't give everything away for free. If you're adding 10 hours more onto the game, I get why I'd have to pay $20. But now they just broke the everything's free, free lightsaber or new lightsabers and free outfits and free add-ons and free this and free that. Well, once you add a pay thing, now you can't really say everything's free, right? Because right now they're saying everything's free. So now you come into Jedi Fallen Order 2. You already know there's going to be a paid expansion. And you know that they are going to stick with that free DLC model. But then what I guarantee you'll see is, well, if you want to get this force power faster, it's $2. If you want to get this color lightsaber, we're not going to offer it for free. It's $2. If you want to get this skin for your ship, and of course it's going to be the awesome ones, right? If you want to get this one, even though we are giving you a bunch of free ones, let's say they give you 15 free ones, but they're offering you this really amazing looking one for $2. There you go. So I think what's going to happen is they'll slowly introduce those things Then here's the other concern: a spin-off of Jedi Fallen Order, with who knows what kind of characters they establish, that where they start to have, like, now they have multiplayer, or maybe they put multiplayer in the second one, and now you start to introduce the microtransactions there. But see, I think that would be a separate game. But you can see how they already cast the fishing line, saying everything's free. You know that if they don't have an expansion pack for this, or an expansion DLC for this, I'd honestly be shocked. Just because I feel like it would be one of those games. You take a look at Uncharted, and they came out with Lost Legacy, and you played as slightly different characters, or different characters, not even slightly different. You played as different characters, but that was still an expansion. It was extra. It was extra story. You look at Spider-Man, that had expansion where it was with the Black Cat, and it was 3 parts. So you had to pay, right? You could either buy it in whole or you could buy it in the episodes. You have The Witcher, like we said before. You have Kingdom Hearts doing that in the winter of 2050. And so you have all these games, big games that are doing it. I just think it's only natural that they do it for this game, especially because I know it's going to do really well. They're really pushing it. And it looks great. And I hope they do an expansion thing. But that's where it starts to say, or that's where you have to start saying, okay, well, now they introduced a pay thing, and you know that EA can get greedy, so you know that they're going to be looking at how many people bought the expansion. Well, let's try to double it next year. Well, how can we maybe double it next year? Well, sir, we have to get more people to buy it next year. Okay, well, how do we do that? So that they start to craft all these different things, and then they start to inject money, and they're going to want to get more money out of it. So that's why I'm saying the first one isn't that terrible. Or the one to be worried about. It's what comes after this. That's when you should start getting a little bit nervous. However, if a lot of people kind of praise the fact that it is an EA game, the majority, what should be free is free, and it's a single player, it's story, people love it. If they're really, if you're getting 9s and 10s across, many different websites, and you're winning a couple different awards at the Game of the Year awards, and I think they will win 1 or 2. It's going to be tough for EA to actually do that for the second game. So we kind of have to say, it's almost like if you really like this game, if you give it a chance, and I think you should, but if you give it a chance, or if you really like it, and you like the way that this EA Star Wars game is, where basically everything's free, any add-on is free, it's single player, it's story driven. If you like that, you need to really kind of promote it as best as you can. Maybe just leaving a comment somewhere or whatever, because it'll make it where if a lot of people do that, and it gets the awards, it gets the reviews that mention that, it's going to make it very difficult for EA to kind of go rogue with it and say, okay, now we're going to put in all these microtransactions and pay stuff, because they're going to know. Because it's going to be visible, it's going to be public that everyone liked it because it didn't have that. So really, it's almost like be concerned for the next one, but if it's talked about enough and that positivity is there because it's solo or story driven, it will actually be kind of difficult for them to kind of pull that kind of stuff.
For sure. So, guys, let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think EA will ruin this game? Are you worried about the next game? All of your thoughts, leave in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And again, we got one more community series video next Tuesday for this game. Once the game actually comes out, we will be covering it. Post-launch, we'll be having videos about the game afterwards. So, loads of Jedi Fallen Order content coming to the channel. We thank you guys so much for watching. We hope to see you all on the next video.